The following program contains disturbing material that may be inappropriate for younger viewers. But we already know that YouTube is going to age restrict this motherfucker. So, enjoy at your own risk. Fucktard Khan.
This is important. Channel is trying to stay monetized. He is a YouTube Chad. He's been on here forever. When he came out with this, every time he puts something out about Epstein, he gets shadow banned, and he keeps having to re-upload because they keep getting demonetized. This is a labor of love. Hello. 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 Welcome to These Are My Fucking Demands podcast. If you do not, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Today is a subject I haven't really talked about. Jefe Epstein. Jefe Epstein, apparently a man from Spain named Jefe Epstein. Spanish guy, apparently. I think he's a prolific singer or something. I have no clue. I've never met this man. If I did, probably have a bad time. A lot of files that came out about this fucking piece of God knows what. I actually printed off a bunch of shit about this particular person. Jesus Christ. With a massive February 2026 DOJ release of millions more Epstein-related documents, there's been a surge in discussions around alleged coded language. Yeah, it's revived Pizzagate. A lot of people have been saying lately that we need to actually apologize to QAnon. I was one of those guys that was like, QAnon's a piece of shit, dude. It's like, fuck QAnon. I thought they were like, because they do have crazy ideas. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite QAnon conspiracies was John F. Kennedy Jr. is a homeless guy, right? And to follow the numbers, and after on the day that Joe Biden, this is when Joe Biden won his election. On the day that Joe Biden was supposedly sworn in. John F. Kennedy Jr. was going to come down in a helicopter like fucking Jesus and completely overturn it and then give fucking, I don't know, Trump I don't know. But these people were crazy. They had a lot of numerology fucking bearing. It was very strange. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Jefe Epstein, obviously Spanish man, has nothing to do with people that have noses. Yeah. Nick Fuentes probably has a lot to say about that, but we're gonna go ahead. We are going to start. I got a couple of things queued up. I've never seen these before. So we're going to experience them together.
A series of payments in the Epstein files has revealed a disturbing pattern. Epstein basically...
By the way, this guy right here, his name's Colin, used to do, hold up. I think he still does the paranormal files, but now he does the conspiracy files, and he's amazing. The conspiracy files is awesome. The guy really goes in hard. I think he's got Trump derangement syndrome, fine. I think the guy, I appreciate what he does on the conspiracy files. Let's just go through this. Let's watch it, because I think he's a good guy. Trump derangement syndrome, it doesn't keep me from liking content. You know what I'm saying? But I really want to see what he's got to say about this. This came out 2 days ago. Today is the 16th, soon to be in 8 minutes, the 17th.
Gynecologist on retainer. He sent monthly payments to this gynecologist who still today is in practice and working in a university's health system, the OSU health system in particular. And this health system and this university tied directly back to one of Epstein's biggest benefactors and one of his recently named co-conspirators, Les Wexner. So the gynecologist that we're going to be talking about,
that name sounds familiar.
Mark Landon, MD. You can see this is Mark right here. He has expertise in
Looks like a nice guy.
obstetrics, reproductive health, high-risk pregnancy, pregnancy complications, and preconception care.
I wonder what he does with those babies.
Mark Landon is a specialist, a physician and professor with maternal fetal medicine, Department OBGYN. And he's got a biography here. He's listed as one of America's top doctors, best doctors in America. I like to relax with my family, travel, read, attend Ohio State football games.
And kill
Yada, yada, yada.
babies.
And he works at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical.
Boy.
Now, if you'll remember, who is Les Wexner? Well, Les Wexner is an incredibly evil guy who is definitively linked to Jeffrey Epstein.
He's the one who gave...
that made Epstein, that created the monster.
He's the one who gave Epstein most of his wealth. And there is very little in the public, out there in the public about that. Maybe he'll have something. Maybe Colin will have something to shine the light on that. I would love to see. So let's fucking go.
That is Jeffrey Epstein. Les Wexner is an absolutely evil dude. And he was recently unveiled as having been one of the co-conspirators in FBI. And
They all look evil, dude.
Les Wexner, good old buddy of Epstein. Here you go, right here.
Hey!
Wexner is him. Here's another picture of Wexner.
Just buddy with everybody, bro.
Wexner's got some skeletons in his closet. There are people associated with Les Wexner that have died mysteriously, been murdered, unsolved murders. He's the CEO or former CEO of Limited 2. He helped build that company, that fashion brand for children. Also CEO, whatever guy who helped build Victoria's Secret. He's
Oh my god.
strange, really bizarre individual. And he's definitively linked to Epstein. Now, the OSU president, G, I guess it's this guy, E. Gordon G, of course, just looks like a twat. He, on the record, and defended Les Wexner.
Colin, you're the GOAT. I don't even care if you don't like fucking Trump. Because, you know, I don't like a lot of things about Trump, but you're the GOAT.
Even though he's been tied to Jeffrey Epstein. And he's basically stated, let me just read this. This is so insane. Former Ohio State University President E. Gordon G. says the effort to remove Ohio billionaire Les Wexner's name from university buildings is cancel culture. They have denied a request to remove Les Wexner's name.
Oh my god, dude.
Information for the naming committee to review. And he actually said this, and the request to remove that name was made by survivors of at the hands of former OSU team Dr. Richard Strauss decades ago. So you have survivors of begging the people who run OSU.
Let me just say this, because this is important. He's trying to protect his channel. He's trying to stay monetized. And this poor man, and he is a YouTube fucking Chad. He's been on here forever, and he does such great content. I love his haunted stuff, but when he came out with this, besides the point, I digress. Every time he puts something out about Epstein, he gets a fucking shadow banned, and he keeps having to re-upload his videos because they keep getting demonetized. This is a labor of love. He wants to see justice for these women, and I can totally appreciate that.
To remove a known or alleged predator, benefactor of Epstein's, from the buildings on campus. And this is what the former president says. This is cancel culture gone wild. If you believe that there was even some scintilla of an issue, sometimes people just want to go right to DEFCON 2. That's silly. So yeah, this guy is a protector himself.
Fuck him.
Just based on his look, he looks like all the dudes that Epstein sent young children to go service, but that's just an observation. Les Wexner's evil. And Mark Landon works at the Wexner Medical Center and is being paid, or was being paid, by Epstein on retainer. How do I know this? Well, here is an email that is coming from Jeffrey Epstein to DKIESQ, and this is Epstein's lawyer writing this to Epstein. He asks Epstein, Darren's his name, are we still paying Mark Landon? Eric was dealing with this, so I am not sure what was decided when the previous payment was made. Landon's agreement requires quarterly payments of $30,000 to be made to Landon on the 15th of January, April, July, and October. I forgot. That was a mistake I said earlier, I think. I want to correct myself. He was not making monthly payments. It was quarterly. The previous payment made to Landon was for $25,000 and not $30,000. The contract is terminable at will on 15 days.
What the fuck does this even mean?
To make payment to Landon by January 15th, and if so, for $25K or $30K, please advise Darren. Epstein then writes back $75 per year. So they're paying this gynecologist
for what?
$30,000 quarterly. Epstein says $75K a year. Why does Epstein need a gynecologist on retainer?
I wonder.
Interesting. Let me go to another document. This is EFTA 017.
Looks highly redacted.
In the Epstein files, these are records listed for Jeffrey Epstein and notes that were left for him. Let's find Landon. Here we got another reference to that. Eric, who was referenced in that last email as well, 11:34 a.m. Dr. Landon's $25,000 quarterly payment is due. Please approve. And this is, I don't know the date on this. Oh, yeah. April.
This runs so fucking deep, bro.
And here's another message, 3:11 p.m. FYI, on the Dr. Landon quarterly payments, we, NYSG, billed LHW/Abigail in advance as we have in prior years. So we can clearly see that this was a pattern all the way back in 2005. They were paying
Bro.
Landon guy. And also, I mean, there's a mention of a ticket to Tel Aviv.
Yo, he's
something, but
yeah.
So they're paying this Dr. Landon $25K, $30K quarterly, keeping him on retainer, a gynecologist. Let me remind you, Epstein was a man. Why?
Well, let's just say, if you have to have a gynecologist on call, and you have been known to harbor young ladies, sus. Just saying. Oh my God.
Why is he paying a gynecologist? I mean, why is he doing that? That's at minimum.
Maybe he's trans.
Let's say Epstein didn't traffic a single girl to anybody. He didn't traffic anybody to anybody. If you're keeping a doctor on retainer for your victims, if that's what was going on here, then the doctor should be investigated as well. Clearly, the doctor should be investigated. If he's
penis guillotine, bro.
As a gyno on retainer for Jeffrey Epstein, the most famous in American history, that guy should be investigated. Instead, though, we are seeing that this doctor is still practicing at the Les Wexner Medical Center. Les Wexner being Jeffrey Epstein's fucking benefactor, the guy who made Jeffrey Epstein, just listed as a conspirator today.
And you want to hear something fucked up? Okay, Lex Wexner completely vilified Jeffrey Epstein when asked. You can look that up. It was a long time ago, but he did. That doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that Lex Wexner had nothing to do with Jefe Epstein's exploits. I feel as if, because of the pattern of behavior that we've seen from Jefe, that it's quite possible that he extorted Les Wexner for his vast wealth. Because after he was done with Les Wexner?
Bingo, you fucking tard.
These Jew names. Les Wexner. He became a extremely wealthy individual. But I digress.
Crazy. But yeah, we'll get into this, but there are, as you can see, I mean, we can go through all of these, but now we've got payments, FedEx payments, invoices, basically some accounting documents. I saved a bunch of these. You could actually see the records of the payments going out here. Dr. Mark Landon. There you go. The same NYSG LLC.
Darren Indyke.
For Dr. Mark Landon. These are just payments going out. So there's Dr. Mark Landon. Let's see, this is another document, confidential. Dr. Mark Landon. Here's another. This is a different document. Here you go again. Dr. Mark Landon. 2002, so years before what we were talking about. Here we go again. This is another document. Interestingly, we got Ghislaine Maxwell getting paid out. Dr. Mark Landon, July of 2003. Eric, same guy. Another confidential payment here. Let's see, where's Dr. Mark Landon? There he is, Dr. Mark Landon, November 2003. Another one to Dr. Mark Landon down here, November 2003. Another one confidential to, I'm assuming, Dr. Mark Landon. Yep, here he is, April 19th, 2004. Dr. Mark Landon, 2004. Again, Dr. Mark Landon, confidential, 2001.
I gotta give
So now
it to
we're
Colin.
going
He puts in the
before
work.
9/11. July 9th, 2001. He's been working with Epstein for years and years and years, getting a payment quarterly from Jeffrey Epstein. We got another here. We could even look at, where is he? He's going to be here. Dr. Mark Landon, July 18th, 2001. There's another. Okay, we got another confidential Dr. Landon, 2001. Again, another Dr. Landon. Where is he? 2001 again. And then to finish this out, I thought we'd look at a couple more emails that were a little bit alarming to me. And it's really interesting. To me, I felt like it's worth pointing out all the mentions of gynecologists and gynecology in the Epstein files. There were girls coming to Epstein all the time, victims is what we should really say, children, coming to Epstein saying they needed to see a gynecologist, and he was paying for them to go see these gynecologists, or specifically to see one or two gynos that Epstein and his crew seemed to send these girls to. And I think that's just very telling, that Epstein actually, they're trying to say that Epstein never trafficked a single victim to anybody, and yet Epstein is not only taking care of all these women, and he's seemingly disconnected from all of them, but he's also paying for their medical bills, and specifically when it comes to gynecology, he's paying for, I hate to say it like this, but routine maintenance on their genitals and their private areas. I
feel that with his dogs. The private areas. And I'm ashamed to admit, I stood down. I need to do something. I just want to read that straight out, because I know Colin would. Okay. Where? Can we? Oh, he's gonna play with his dog. All right. Come on, man. All right. So, here we go. From redacted to Kimberly Fierce, a Jew. Subject, Jeffrey Epstein. Thanks, Kim. Redacted, birthday, redacted, blah, blah, blah. So, she is Russian and new to New York. Just needs a checkup and prescription refilled. On January 22nd, 2015 at 4:19 p.m., Kimberly Fierstein, redacted, wrote, I am going to try and call around. What is your number to get more details? 9895 not working. Original message. Okay, thanks. Why? Dude. See, this is why I like this man.
Taking care of all these. So my wife and I adopted another puppy the other day.
Good on you. I love dogs.
The same litter as our other dog.
Oh, Boober.
Familiar with Elfie, but I drove out and I actually adopted Elfie.
If you don't love dogs, fucking unsubscribe.
Everyone, she's so cute. I just brought her to the vet today. She is absolutely such a beautiful, sweet little dog.
It's like a miniature Dobie.
Because Courtney just took our dogs for a walk. But just, I guess are you going to be okay right here for a sec? As I finish this? Yeah, it just struck me as being so strange how
it's like they come for the conspiracies. They stay for the dog.
These girls with Epstein write him all the time and his assistants looking for gynecologist appointments. It's like I was saying before I went to go get her. You know, it's like just basically Epstein providing maintenance on the genitals of his victims, but also his moneymakers and the pawns in his game. Of course, he would be paying for their gyno.
Very true.
Because, you know, as disgusting as it sounds to say that, that's what he was getting money and value out of. That's where he was getting the power from, was getting these children, teenagers, some young woman to...
If you think about it, the way Colin is putting this, it's very clinical, but at the same time, as a blue-collar worker, you have to maintain the machinery that makes you money. Now, that is the most sanitized completely. It takes out the human element completely, but what he's saying is true. I don't know if it is true exactly what he's saying, but the analogy that I'm making, you need to oil your machines. You don't want your shit breaking down. And obviously, he invested a shitload of money into these young women that were trafficked. It's the most evil fucking shit that I've ever heard in my life, man. And I gotta laugh because it's so fucking bad, dude. It is so bad. This is the worst fucking shit ever. And the fact that, like, let's just keep going, man. I can't.
Do things with these powerful men and then film them and take photos of them to be used as blackmail and power chips. This is so funny.
So good girl, good boy.
Yeah, just seeing that was really, really bizarre because I went through all the emails of
Colin, you got an awesome death metal shirt.
psychology. You can even see here, this person emailed Epstein. They said, I'd like to buy a camera to make videos. The medical money I need is for a gynecologist, personal trainer. You can see here are their expenses that they listed out. And Epstein's kind of savage. He said, you need to get a job. No excuses accepted.
Oh my God.
What
a fucking piece of
just another
shit.
victim coming to Epstein saying, I need specifically payment so I can see a guy.
Just another victim, kid.
No. Then there's another one. Here's another, what I'm assuming is a young girl victim just coming back from the gynecologist, and they're texting Epstein saying in Mexico they're doing this and they're doing shots, and Epstein's actually giving this victim advice on how to handle their own female health and everything. And that he's advising her to take contraception pills.
Like, is he fucking Epstein was so fucking in tune with the pussy? He knew exactly. Yeah, these were pets to him. Routine maintenance. Absolutely ridiculous.
Pills, don't let the doctors touch you, nothing to worry about. Talking about taking pills. I mean, it's crazy. You should really pause some of this and read some of these files. Because then, as a dark little side note, down here, Epstein says, you know, if you're taking pills, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Sleep well. You're going to go crazy. You need to rest easy. And he says, please research. If you don't already know, Ruslana K. And he sends a Wikipedia link. And this is to a girl who allegedly self-deleted by jumping out of a window.
Because she did drugs.
Years ago.
Was she tied to him?
On TikTok and Instagram. And he tells this victim that he's talking to, Epstein, Korshanova's most telling message came in March 2008. I'm so lost. Will I ever find myself? Then she blanked from a window, and self-deleted.
Oh,
this victim writes back to Epstein, says, I heard about her. There was a lot of TV program about her. By the time it's happened, why did you decide to send it to me? Epstein says, and this is crazy, I knew her very well. She drove herself crazy, worrying, and took her own advice and of her boyfriend that knew little as well. She went to doctor after doctor, anxiety and bad answers. Had a very bad ending. She was great, smart, but so lost and confused and worried. It was easy to have been another ending, but she didn't have a father and no one was strong with her.
Well, if you didn't have a father, and then you, I don't know where this is going. I have a feeling that this is one of Epstein's trafficked girls. There's no fucking way, unless he's using this to manipulate one of, this girl he's messaging. But yes, women, love your fathers. If you don't have a father figure, find an adult that will be a father figure to you. And I'm not talking about pieces of shit there are earmarks of pieces of shit that are trying to abuse you. If you see any red flags, run. But, and I don't want to appeal to authority, but there's big brother programs, big sister programs. I don't care what people say about the church, about molestation or whatever. Yes, a lot of that shit goes down there. But it's just like when you hear about cops shooting black people, it's the exception and not the rule. If you feel like somebody in power is trying to go that route, exit immediately, call the police, get somebody involved. Always have your camera on. Everybody has a phone. Always have your camera on. Always record. I don't know do what you can within the law of where you live within your vicinity, because there's different laws for different states and about recording people without their knowledge. But the fact that Epstein's this guy is a fucking either a psychopath, B, a sociopath. I am not a doctor, but he's got these Machiavellian fucking type, like like inherent Machiavellian fucking, just, he's earmarked for all this shit. He's got this sociopathic attitude, and I feel like this comes with the money. It just comes with never having to deal with the consequences. And I'll say one last thing before I go back in. This is a problem that we have with women and these Antifa people, because they're always protesting, doing whatever they want in blue cities. They never find out. But, you know, you try it in like a state like Texas or fucking, you know, Florida, you end up finding out. And they're like, I didn't realize, I didn't know. Well, I mean, you did it 1,000 times before in fucking, I don't know, Portland, Minneapolis, fucking, where else they do this shit? Where they had Chess Chop and fucking, Minneapolis is a big one. But I digress. Let me go back. I'm sorry.
Each time she went to a doctor, they told her something a little different. Her boyfriend was afraid she would gain weight and not be able to earn money. It was horrible. Her mind drove her to throw herself out the window. So when I hear from you, I might not want to take medicine to fix my cysts because it might make my skin bad. I get worried. So, you know, obviously a lot of people think that Ruslana did not self-delete, and they think Epstein and the Epstein gang had something to do with her death. So to see him referencing her and talking about her demise and blaming it on herself and mental health, I mean, to me, that was really shocking. We'll do a whole video about that.
That's crazy.
What we're dealing with today. Here's another girl.
This is all alleged, by the way.
Can I ask you for something? She's writing to Epstein. I need to visit a gynecologist, just a regular checkup. She says, can I have that money? Usually it's $500. Epstein says, yeah, he's going to pay for her gyno.
I wonder what she did.
And to finish it all out, now here is two more things that I'll end on. This first document actually came up because I searched for gynecologist, and they reference a gynecologist in this article. This is a forwarded news article.
I just see.
But Sultan bin Sulayem, who we've talked about, he's a Dubai, UAE, extremely wealthy billionaire, money guy, very powerful. He was the one who was...
Hey, you guys ever heard about the fucking Dubai toilet? Look up Dubai toilet. I'm not gonna fucking mention it here. It's fucking absolutely disgusting.
Talking with Epstein about eating flesh and not eating flesh, and I believe he was the one who was talking about the torture video, but he sent this news link to Epstein forward virginity auction in 2012. And this news story, basically, it states, Caterina Migliorini became a viral sensation.
That's an Italian.
When news broke that the beautiful 20-year-old Brazilian student was auctioning off her virginity to raise money for impoverished families in her country. Early bidding quickly topped $190,000.
Women do never do this.
Then they said, let's just read this. But the organizer of the auction has told HuffPost Weird News that he was shocked when she told various media that she was doing it for charity. He thought it was for profit and self-promotion. Yeah, and the organizer, it says he's been working on a documentary called Virgins Wanted that follows male and female virgins attempting to get over the hump. At the project's climax, he's been holding a pair of online auctions in which people can bid for the chance to deflower Migliorini, 20, or Alex Stepanov, a male. The current bid for Migliorini's virtue is $190,000. Well, Stepanov, his highest bid was $1,300, which is crazy. But Epstein's friend sent this to him. The Sultan, a billionaire, sent this to Epstein, virginity auction. No context, no wording. I don't know what's redacted here, but how creepy is that this billionaire is actually sending this to Epstein and saying virginity auction? And then the final document for this that I found that has to be brought up. Someone named Ismo wrote to Epstein in 2012, around that same time actually, and said, do you remember the name of the gynecologist that you used to send your victims to?
What?
That's what he wrote right there. Do you remember the name of the gynecologist that you used to send your victims to? Now, what does that mean?
What the fuck do you think it means, man? Used to send your victims to? Talk your way out of that. Epstein, wherever the fuck you are, dude. I don't think that dude's dead. That's crazy.
Why are they being called victims? Who is the gynecologist that Epstein was sending the victims to? Who is referring to these women as victims? How do they know that Epstein is sending women to a gynecologist? How do you know any of that? Then Epstein says, New York? And this person responds back, yes, many years ago you used to send them to a gyno in New York who once commented something to the effect that you were keeping him in business single-handedly. So, no answers there. We don't know who sent that email. We don't know the meaning of it. We really don't know shit, but we do know that apparently, according to this guy in this conversation, Epstein was sending so many women to a single gynecologist in New York that the gynecologist allegedly joked that Epstein was keeping him in business single-handedly. And no one thought to ask any questions. The gynecologist never thought to ask Epstein, why are these extremely young girls and women coming to me all the time? Why are you sending me so many different girls?
Wow.
I don't even know. I mean, he had to have checked the ages, I'm sure, and seen that a lot of them were underage. Why did they not report that? I mean, we know for a fact that many, if not most, of Epstein's girls that he trafficked were children. So if you're sending those children to a gynecologist over and over again, why is the gynecologist, the doctor, not saying, why is this guy sending so many kids to me to have their private parts checked out? Why is this older billionaire sending me so many children to have their genitals checked for, you know, whatever, STDs or health or, you know, anything really? Why is this older man sending me all these kids for me to check on their genitals? It just makes no sense. And to me, the point of making a video like this is to point out, clearly, this Mark Landon guy knows something.
This is
about
fucking
Epstein.
horrible.
You don't work at the Wexner Medical Center.
He's.
Jeffrey Epstein's like best.
I feel like this doctor who mentioned, why are you sending me these people? This is the banality of evil.
The guy who made Epstein and receive quarterly payments from Jeffrey Epstein for years and not know something about Epstein's sex trafficking operation. I mean, this is the guy that's literally checking the victims' genitals and private parts to make sure that they're in full working order, to keep their privates healthy so that they can be abused by older, disgusting men. I mean, if you think about it like that, why aren't we interviewing these men? To my knowledge, none of these gynecologists have been brought in. None of them have been questioned. I've never seen any reference to a gynecologist even being interviewed by an authority. And that should piss you off. It pisses me off, and it should really piss you off too. But if you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel, if you enjoy my deep dives, not enjoy them, but if you like the work that I'm doing, please comment on the video, like the video, share the video, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel because YouTube really prioritizes the likes and comments and shares and everything. And if you do that for me, it can help a lot of people see the video. It can help a lot more people see the video. So please share, like, post.
All right. Well, I just want to say this. This is Conspiracy Files, and this is Colin. And I will post this link in the description of this video. Please give him a like, subscribe to him. If you're, I mean, he does some amazing research. He's the fucking man. Just please do that. And this is talking about 300 high-profile names.
Released all the Epstein files and even listed out 300 names. But we're seeing
Scam Blondie.
Not the end of the story. So we're going to go through some of the notable people named to understand what exactly their connection is, if any, to the accused child sex trafficker. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Well, after Attorney General Pam Bondi's battle in front of the House Judiciary Committee last week, where she was grilled on all matters Jeffrey Epstein, namely regarding redactions and whether there were in fact other co-conspirators or not, in fact we did a whole sidebar on that, Bondi then sent the letter out to lawmakers over the weekend, saying that all the Epstein files have been released. And most importantly, she listed out over 300 high-profile names. Now, at first glance, you might be saying, wait a second, did she just release the Epstein list? The list of Epstein's alleged co-conspirators, people who allegedly engaged in criminal activity, the abuse of young girls for years.
Doubt it.
That's why we have to put into context what this is about, okay? Because I'm going to go over the letter, I'm going to go over the names. And
my man's had a broken nose.
Here, as we have previously reported, the DOJ indicated that there is no central Jeffrey Epstein client list that he had prepared. There's no little...
I don't believe that.
...who knew about or participated in criminal...
I don't believe that.
...kept as a form of blackmail. This is not surprising.
Do you believe that? There's got to be. If it's not, all right, you got to put yourself in the head. Look at this faggot right here. Hold on, look at him. Look at him. Just look at him. Just look at him. You got to put yourself in the heads of these people. And I'll bring myself back to when I used to fucking like deal drugs and shit when I was a kid. I didn't. If people wanted fronts and you know, they'd have to owe me. I didn't fucking write their names down. What I would do was I would use codes. I wouldn't even use their initials. I did like a cipher with what I do is I do like whatever letter of the alphabet that corresponded with the number, I would do that. But there's always plausible deniability with that too. I mean, it's a stupid cipher. It's very rudimentary, but it was something, and it was always in the margins of textbooks and shit, like from school. If somebody didn't pay me, I would just take some of their shit. I remember one dude, I fucking like removed his fucking radio out of his car when that was a thing that was actually expensive. Now it's like no big thing. Now it's all head units and shit. But I was born in the 70s, so fuck. Just how it is.
I never thought that there was anything like this. There's no evidence of that. There is an address book that we've talked about here on Sidebar before. It's not the same thing. And to be clear, I'm going to say this over and over again. Just because someone is mentioned in the files or mentioned in an address book doesn't mean they're fucked in criminal activity. So let me briefly summarize the letter and then I'll get into the names, okay? So in a letter that was dated this past Saturday, February 14th, this is addressed to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Chairman Chuck Grassley, Ranking Member Dick Durbin, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, and Ranking Member Jamie Raskin. The letter explains that under the newly passed Epstein Files Transparency Act, the DOJ...
They really fucked themselves with that, didn't they?
...that was released. And remember, this was an act that said, you got to turn over everything in your possession. So one of the things they have to do under the law is they have to explain what was released, they have to explain a summary of all the redactions, and the legal basis for them. And this is the key. Quote, a list of all government officials and politically exposed persons named or referenced in the released materials. Okay, they had to list this out. So first, some context here. Pam Bondi explained that they released
Scam Blondie.
Regarding
bullshit.
Basically, anything about Epstein, anything about Ghislaine Maxwell, flight logs or travel records, associated government officials and entities, immunity deals, internal Department of Justice communications regarding not charging someone or prosecuting someone, anything about destroying Epstein data and materials, and any materials surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's death. That's basically a summary.
Hold up. Yep. I gotta go back for...
Now, in terms of what was...
Oh, god damn it. It's not like... All right. Right here. I love Asmongold, but that's his hairline.
And any materials surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's death. That's basically a summary of what they had to release. Now, in terms of what was withheld from public disclosure, the letter explains that there are those records that were subject to certain privileges, like attorney-client privilege, but the letter made clear that no records were withheld that were merely just embarrassing to someone. And that they tried to remove personally identifiable information about victims, although, as I'm sure you heard from various reporting, there were allegations that the DOJ failed to 100% do that. And then we get this, quote, below is a list of all government officials and politically exposed persons named or referenced in the released materials, although the letter explains that politically exposed person, not really well defined. But there is a footnote of the list that says, any omissions from the list are unintentional, and as explained in the previous letters to Congress, a result of the volume and speed with which the department complied with the act. Individuals whose names were redacted for law enforcement sensitive purposes are not included, meaning.
All right. Well, to me, this gives off an air of there's like highly systemic corruption within the I don't think the DOJ, more likely the FBI. And you could just think of like Comey, and who's that fucking one guy that was like a demon back in the FBI, man, when he went in front of the Senate, and I can't remember what it was about. If I can remember it before while I'm editing, I will post a picture of and his name up.
There's an ongoing investigation. Now, I'm not going to read you all 300 names. We're going to put it up on the screen here, but this is an example of some names. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Steve Bannon, George W. Bush.
Well, all those are...
George Clooney, Ron DeSantis, Richard Branson, Fidel Castro, Kurt Cobain, Mick Jagger, Cory Booker, Jeff Bezos, Joe and Jill Biden, Michael Cohen, James Comey, David Copperfield, Robert De Niro, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Jared Kushner, Janis Joplin, Donald Trump, Mark Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel, Ivanka Trump, J.D. Vance, Chris Tucker, Rupert Murdoch, Gavin Newsom, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Elvis Presley.
Okay, Peter Thiel, let's just talk about this guy real quick. All right, Palantir. the most advanced, basically the most advanced AI. He's using AI to try to basically pulling all of our phone location biometric. And when I say biometric, I don't just mean your thumbprint. I'm talking about your acceleration data, your fucking geographical data, everything all together. Palantir is trying for free crime. And you don't have to believe me. You can look it up. Just not on Reddit, because Jesus Christ. Actually, you might find some cool shit on Reddit. Just watch out for the mods. They're fucking retarded.
Brett Ratner, Alyssa Milano, Elon Musk, Larry Nassar, Barack Obama, Tucker Carlson, Rosie O'Donnell, Bill Gates, Rudy Giuliani, Nikki Haley,
Tucker
Leon
Carlson,
Woody Allen, Alex, Michael Jackson. Okay, so that's just a sampling of the names. Obviously, there are a lot more. Now, I'm going to get to what this means. But before I do that, real quick, got to give a shout out to today's sponsor, OneSkin. You have to take care of your skin. Look, as we get older,
yeah, you know
dryness, deeper wrinkles.
I don't give a fuck about your OneSkin.
She went on X, said, quote, despite the memo released by DOJ last night, not all the Epstein files have been released, and the excuses provided for not releasing all the files will not hold up in a court of law. This isn't going away until people go to jail.
Based.
Where are all the logs from the receptionist station at Epstein's New York home? They kept track of underage children and people in power coming and going. Here's another one. Where is all the audio and video from the Lolita Express, meaning Jeffrey Epstein jet? Then you had Representative Ro Khanna, quote, the DOJ is once again purposefully muddying the waters on who is a predator and who is mentioned in an email. To have Janis Joplin, who died when Epstein was 17, in the same list as Larry Nassar, who went to prison for the sexual abuse of hundreds of young women and child pornography.
That was disgusting.
No clarification of how either was mentioned in the files is absurd.
If you guys don't know who Larry Nassar is, he was the he was basically the doctor, the I don't know exact doctoral fucking science it was, or he was in the rehabilitation. He was basically a skeletal. What he did was he basically used his position of power within the the gymnastics portion of the Olympics. He would basically finger bang these girls. Got away with it for years, and you know what? He did it, and he is so. You want to talk about Jewy? This dude was Jewy as fuck. Little fucking sawed off fucking prick. Disgusting. Can you imagine? You're using your position of power to fucking molest fucking children. Anyway, I don't expect you to look up Larry Nassar, but if you do, just keep in mind it's gross. It's gross.
Release the full file, stop protecting predators, redact only the survivors' names. So why are all of these people listed? And I really want to focus more on names we haven't talked about as much. Like we've already discussed in previous episodes of Sidebar, the Clintons, President Trump, director Woody Allen's connection to Epstein, Elon Musk's back and forth with Epstein or his people regarding meeting up. Actually, I'll tell you what, before I even get to other names, one more thing about Musk that I thought was interesting, and this was outlined in a Fortune article. The files allegedly reveal a scheme by Epstein to get close to Musk's brother, Kimball, and even try to handpick a woman for him. Like you have this email from an Epstein associate, Boris Nikolic.
This is such an op.
It says, just talk to Kimball. His actual birthday is on Thursday night, although his party is on Saturday. Kimball, Elon, and few of their closest friends will go out that night. I told him that you will join us as well. Also, I told him that you are coming with Redacted and that he might want to ditch his ex or current-to-be. He said yes and is looking so much forward. So please prepare Redacted. She might like Elon.
They're just trying to set up all these
motherfuckers. How Epstein even
motherfuckers.
tried to seemingly leverage that to get close to Elon Musk, where Epstein wrote Musk in one message, I will be in New York for next week. We'll see your brother in his new romance. And of course, you have people like Bill Gates, Microsoft's founder, already well established that he had a connection to Epstein. There are photos of him in connection to Epstein.
I love just like when he was asked about fucking Epstein, he goes, Well, you know, he's dead, though, so you should watch out. No, I thought it was actually kind of hilarious.
Our email where Epstein alleged that Gates needed medication to treat an STI, sex with Russian girls.
How do I put drugs into my wife's shit so I can, you know, just in case she's got the
I'm
clap?
going to give you the caveat that is laid out by Pam Bondi in her letter. It says,
Sam Blondie.
names appear in the files released under the acts in a wide variety of contexts. For example, some individuals had extensive direct email contact with Epstein or Maxwell, while other individuals are mentioned only in a portion of a document, including press reporting that on its face is unrelated to the Epstein and Maxwell matters. Like, for example, you might have somebody like Elvis Presley, obviously no connection to Jeffrey Epstein, but then you get a Prince Andrew, who we've, by the way, talked about extensively.
The man that doesn't sweat.
We talked about the royals' connection to Epstein.
Funny thing about that is I don't sweat.
Context and explanation for, because listing these out, people might jump to conclusions, but let me try to explain it. So for example, a name like rock singer Janis Joplin. You know why she's in there? She was referenced in a mass email that BCC'd Jeffrey Epstein, and in the email it listed music of the week. Quote, Janis Joplin, Big Brother and the Holding Company, Piece of My Heart. Seemingly innocuous, although
Sorry, I got a fidget.
there appears to be a redacted line underneath this sentence. What about Nirvana's Kurt Cobain? Why is he in there? So in an informational email that was sent to Epstein from popular in your network, info@twitter.com, one of the things it seems to recommend for him is an article remembering Kurt Cobain on the 22nd anniversary of his death. So as you can see, it's not like Joplin or Cobain were somehow connected to Epstein. Again, wouldn't even make sense given the time frame. And then you have somebody like former President Barack Obama, where from what I could see, it was just a lot of articles about Obama in the files release, like news articles. I didn't find any direct ties between Epstein and the former president. Same kind of thing with Bruce Springsteen. Mentions of him are about tickets and concerts and email blasts. So as you go through this list, and maybe you're going to go on the DOJ's library yourself, just keep that in mind. But what about somebody like actor George Clooney? Now this is interesting because on one hand, you have Clooney mentioned in certain
George.
like there was an email sent to Jeffrey Epstein in 2011 saying, quote, reminder, today is the day Peggy was hoping you could be in Venice with her for the Clooney opening. Pacino to be there, seemingly in reference to Al Pacino. Now Peggy seems to be in reference to Peggy Siegel, big time
Because she's got a great ass. It's a Pacino line.
publicist, frequent communication with or about Epstein. We mentioned this before, but there was an allegation that she even tried to do damage control for Epstein when all these allegations were coming out. But then you have this email titled Toronto Film Festival, this is back in 2009, from Peggy Siegel to Epstein, where it says, had a great time in Toronto, saw everyone, George Clooney, Michael Douglas, Jeffrey Rush, Drew Barrymore, etc. Saw all studio execs, more important. How about this one, from Siegel to Epstein from 2011? This email to George Clooney gives you an idea how successful my Venice trip was. Accomplished so much. Hung and discussed their work with George Clooney, Kate Winslet, Keira Knightley, Colin Firth, Al Pacino, on and on. We have working on all the hot films, have to write my story now, miss you, want to see you when in New York City, XOXO Peggy. So not really sure what to make of that unless of course she's just sharing with him her exploits or, you know, he likes being involved or connected to the rich and powerful and wants to make connections and she might be the conduit. I don't know. But then there's this one we got to talk about. So someone writes Epstein in 2010, quote, can I have a muse same as George Clooney? In fact, what about George Clooney? Epstein writing back, in your present position, it should be George Clowney. Now, at the bottom of the email string, it says Peter Mandelson, somebody we've talked about before, the British politician who came under a lot of
Dude.
with him and Epstein.
This whole thing is taken down.
Celebrating and congratulating him when he was released from prison after his conviction on Florida state charges of solicitation of prostituting a minor. That's a little weird. Then you have this email too from Epstein to someone back in 2014 with the subject line, Clooney in Copenhagen. Quote, now I know Copenhagen has interesting girls. Ask Gianni if you should see agencies on his behalf. This is what Epstein writes back. So I don't know what to make of these Clooney emails per se, but the actor has never been accused or implicated in wrongdoing in connection with Jeffrey Epstein. But obviously I gotta mention this.
I was the first
people that have a more
to buy a
direct
Prius
connection with Epstein, like actor Chris Tucker. Okay, you have this email from 2013.
he just went
that reads,
on.
Chris Tucker will be stopping by to see J.E. sometime before his show tonight. No
He at least explained why he was on the plane.
in connection with Epstein, like there's one with him and Ghislaine Maxwell that has been circulated quite a bit. What about Jay-Z? So Jay-Z presents an interesting one to follow. There is a 2019 FBI crisis intake memo where someone back in July of 2019 apparently called the FBI Operations Center to identify herself as a victim of sexual abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and others. And later on it says, quote, in approximately 1996, Redacted resided with Redacted in Redacted. An unknown man abducted Redacted from her home when she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein, Sean Carter, Jay-Z.
No
while
shit.
Weinstein had, and I'm not going to be too graphic here, sexually abused her. Redacted believed she was in Epstein's
No shot.
Florida. Weinstein, of course, is the disgraced movie producer who was convicted of sex crimes. But I will tell you, this is very similar to a range of tips that authorities were receiving in the wake of Epstein's allegations that were potentially never corroborated. I mean, we discussed the same thing multiple times on previous episodes of Sidebar regarding the unsubstantiated sexual abuse allegations against President Trump, too. Just something to keep in mind. But names like Harvey Weinstein,
Prince
not a great
fucking
connection. Neither is Bill Cosby, okay? He too is mentioned in the Epstein files. Like this email to Epstein from 2013, quote, Rich Barnett ran into Mr. Cosby's houseman on 71st Street. The houseman said, unfortunately, Mr. Cosby will be out west somewhere in California when you're holding the dinner on the 23rd. Otherwise, he would have loved to come. So this idea that Epstein just loved to be affiliated and associated with the rich and famous, and as we know, Cosby would later be accused and go to trial on sexual assault claims. This one was surprising. Former TV show personality Dr. Oz, who's an official in the current Trump administration. So there is an email from 2016 from Mehmet and Lisa Oz, that's his wife. And now remember, this is after Epstein's conviction on solicitation of prostitution charges of a minor. And this email is to Epstein, and it is actually an invite to Mehmet and Lisa Oz's Valentine's celebration. How about this one? Sent to Epstein in 2010. Rudy Giuliani could see you tomorrow, either at 12 or at 4:45. I'm not sure what time you arrive tomorrow, but I'm thinking the 4:45 is better. Again, have to make the caveat, just because he was invited places or had meetings with places doesn't mean these people are guilty of anything, okay? Why is Robert De Niro listed? Well, Epstein receives an email
piece of fucking shit
that reads, Hi Jeffrey, called redacted, but she never called back. Have been seeing redacted once in a while, have lots to tell you. Call me when you, I think it says, set up coffee deal with De Niro, launched in Whole Foods under Grace of Rwanda. Best, Jonathan. So maybe trying to meet Robert De Niro, possibly another De Niro. There are more about the actor though too. So you go back to Peggy Siegel. How about this one, 2017, when she wrote, Dear Jeffrey, I am volunteering to help the New York Film Society of Lincoln Center with their spring gala called the 44th Annual Chaplin Awards, honoring Robert De Niro on May 8th. The presenters include Whoopi Goldberg, Meryl Streep, Martin Scorsese, Ben Stiller, and Harvey Keitel. See attached invite. I need to talk to you about the possibility of you buying a table that I can fill with movie stars, and hopefully you can attend. Now, Epstein was also on an email blast from an account that was set up for Jane Rosenthal and Robert De Niro back in 2015 regarding the Tribeca Film Festival, which the actor helped to found. But as you'll see, it's just an example of his connections to powerful people. And while I couldn't find, let's say, a direct email between Robert De Niro and Jeffrey Epstein, let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg for a second, okay? Facebook. How about this message? Quote, Leslie thanks. The things I discussed with Jeffrey were for he and Woody, seemingly Woody Allen, to visit Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook or for Mark to join them at dinner. I've sent Mark the options and I'm waiting to hear back. How about this? Andrea, could you also please pass along the below link to Mark from Jeffrey? Thanks. Again, this is Leslie, Jeffrey Epstein's assistant. How about this one? Here are the details for the Sunday dinner. Attendees are, and it lists out Mark Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel, Jeffrey Epstein. There are more names on there too. I mentioned Hakeem Jeffries, so getting into the political space. It seems at the very least,
low-rent Obama.
Keeping a careful eye on the Democratic politician out of New York. He was forwarded an article about the rising star in 2013. Epstein also received an email, could be an email blast. It says, Dear Jeffrey, I hope you received an invite to the party that Congressman Hakeem Jeffries this Wednesday night in Manhattan. Comptroller-elect Scott Stringer will be leading the celebrations in what promises to be a great night. Again, didn't find any direct connection or direct email between Hakeem Jeffries and Jeffrey Epstein. What about George Soros, the investor? Email sent to Epstein in 2011. Thank you, just landed in New York, was terrific. Flew over your island, coming back from Necker to St. Thomas. George Soros and Richard Branson loved your question about dictators hiding money. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. You have this email from 2018 to Jeffrey Epstein where it reads, Jeff Bezos at SMU Friday, worth seeing if I'm not still sick? Epstein replies, yes, you can say hello from me. So was there a connection between Bezos and Epstein? Also this one, from Peggy Siegel to Epstein in 2009. Just left Ghislaine's townhouse, after party for film. Bill Clinton and Jeff Bezos were there. Gene Pagoni, director, Millionaire, etc. So you can see his connections in some way, but I will say, the names that really prove to be pivotal and come up a lot are people like Leon Black.
All right, well, what I'm going to do here is because my my shit dropped out. This is LAW&CRIME Network. Give them a like and a subscribe, as I will do. But I want to go over here to Ro Jogan, because, you know, Fish Ro Jogan. And let's check this one out.
These like powerful
Les Wexner, which was unredacted everywhere else.
All right, this is Liberty Vault.
Hey, they just did that by coincidence.
Liberty Vault and Liberty Vault, give them a like and subscribe. I will put all this down in the description. So
just happened to redact it accidentally in the co-conspirator stock. Let's see what he has to say about this. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Who knows what fucking happens with all this Epstein file shit? It just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier and deeper. And so Ro Khanna and Massey just released the names of these guys that had been redacted from the list. And one of them is
Les Wexner.
Wexner.
Lex Wex.
Who's
I
the
swear, it's so
CEO
easy to fuck it up.
Victoria's Secrets. Is he the CEO or the owner?
Former CEO.
Both.
Former owner, CEO of Victoria's Secrets. He's being named as a co-conspirator now.
He's the man that gave
Yeah, so
him,
he's being
gave Epstein, Hefe Epstein, most of his wealth.
because he runs this modeling, Victoria's Secrets,
Right.
hot girls, the whole deal. Somehow or another, he's involved, and they had redacted his name up until now, right?
Pretty sure. Yeah. Well, two things. I don't think anybody. His existence as a co-conspirator isn't new information.
But it's confirmed now, right?
It was people I think are up in arms is that it wasn't supposed to be blocked out from the files.
Exactly.
My man over here.
Not a victim.
With
Right.
the
he's not a
Pantera.
victim, so why was his name redacted?
Right, right.
That's the dude.
He got it unredacted, and now he's being named.
That guy.
Yeah, a few things. First of all, Kash Patel had sworn testimony saying there's no proof that Epstein trafficked outside of himself, but FBI docs show that they did consider Les Wexner a co-conspirator. They were at one point, it seems to be, tracking him down for an interview. That never happened. That attempt seems to have died with Epstein himself, but their narrative now is that they unredacted his name in 4,000 different locations in the Epstein files, but just happened to coincidentally miss that in the document that says
The one where he was co-conspirator in trafficking.
FBI doc that says that, and Pam Bondi had no excuse for that. On the
I think this is a Jew privilege.
stand-up testimony to a congressional committee, I think the Oversight Committee, the other day. So we're supposed to have no problem with this, and their narrative that says that there's no evidence that there's sex trafficking, that there are co-conspirators, etc., when again, the FBI documents show that they thought they were co-conspirators, including Les Wexner, the guy that bequeathed to Epstein hundreds of millions of dollars in property in
Bequeath.
$77 million Manhattan mansion, which was the most valuable one in Manhattan.
He gave him
Inexplicable.
all his wealth.
No explanation for that, essentially.
I think he was the funder of most of it.
Very Machiavellian.
People knew that there was something going on, but he had gifted Jeffrey Epstein this insane house in Manhattan. So this is like a $60 million house in Manhattan. You know the house where you go into it and you see Bill Clinton in a dress?
Yeah, yeah.
You know that picture that we
Yeah,
have out in the
yeah,
lobby?
yeah.
That's from the foyer
Oh,
of his
shit.
house
Right.
that Jeffrey Epstein was gifted by Les Wexner.
Hmm.
By the way, Whitney Webb posted on her Twitter about Les Wexner being a sex trafficker, a child sex trafficker in 2020. See if you can find that. Like that crazy chick is right about
Yeah,
it.
she got fucked over, dude.
Kidnapped, or she was claimed she was kidnapped. It was in his house in New Albany or Columbus. Like she claimed she was being held there for, I don't know, 2 weeks or something, like doing art. She called her dad to try to get out of there or something like that.
Oh Jesus.
It's making me do art and massages.
Brand new information.
Probably.
This was in Columbus, Ohio?
Well, New Albany is where that's where his house is. It's the biggest house in Ohio, I think. It's a
Yeah, I think Les Wexner is still the richest man in Ohio. Epstein has had a residency right next door, essentially. Wexner gave him power of attorney and really control over his business empire at L Brands. And the photo they're talking about in the foyer of Epstein's Manhattan mansion is this one. This one right here, which is Clinton in the blue dress. It seems to have multiple theories around this, but the most prevalent one among researchers is, hey, I got this guy in the bag. I have blackmail over him. I have control over him. And we know more about Epstein and Clinton's liaisons.
That's the cum dress.
His death, because a guy named Mark Middleton arranged for over a dozen meetings between Epstein and Clinton during the Clinton presidency. This wasn't well known at the time, and after this was divulged and printed in the media, Mark Middleton himself was found not only hung, but also, in addition to being hung with a belt, a shotgun blast through his chest. And, Mark Middleton killed himself, was the narrative there. How's that possible? I don't know. It doesn't seem to have been deeply explored, but this is what we're dealing with here in this story. There's too many crazy aspects to say that this is totally organic.
suburb of Columbus. It'd be like Westlake to
Right,
Boston.
right.
People think he's still there. That's where.
Well, the people that think he's alive, I think they think he's in Israel, don't they?
Well, there's that stupid AI video.
AI photos. They might not be.
No, they're AI.
People think he's in sea.
They're- Yeah, it's all AI.
Wouldn't you think he'd get some surgery?
You would think that he would have to.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably one of the most recognizable faces in
Yeah.
the world at this point.
Yeah.
Like, after so much airtime.
You'd have to get some
Yeah.
surgery if you wanted to still. I mean, how would you keep that? This is the tweet. Your reminder that Leslie Wexner financed the mass rape and trafficking of thousands of American children for over a decade, and right now he is sitting in a 26K square foot mansion in New Albany, Ohio, thinking that he is above the law. She tweeted this in April 20th
Crazy.
of 2020. How crazy is that?
Shit.
She's like the most prolific of all the conspiracy theorists, the most well-read, the one with the most recall, the one that's the most quoted. I don't know how she's so good at it. We're trying to get her on. I don't know how she's...
Oh my God.
And what her background is, how she...
Let me just put it this way. You saw what happened to Virginia Jeffrey. That's some crazy shit, man. She like just disappeared. She went from like, I'm not suicidal to bam, she got hit by a fucking truck. And then goes in to the hospital, says she has like 4 days to live. And she just dies. She was one of the more vocal of the Epstein survivors. Man, justice for Virginia. Jesus Christ. I mean, we know the Clinton body count. Come on, people. It's absolutely insane.
finds all this information, but she's always way ahead.
Yeah, she sure is. She's been doing research in the Epstein scandal a long time. There were others doing research at that time, and a lot of people thought that, hey, this relationship between Wexner and Epstein is crazy, and there's no doubt that he financially enabled Epstein. He wasn't the only one. Leon Black gave Epstein, I think, $158 million, ostensibly to do his taxes. The head of Apollo Global, one of
bullshit.
the biggest, asset management firms in the world, needs Epstein to do his taxes. That's the story they're going with there too. But yeah, Whitney Webb's great book, One Nation Under Blackmail, couldn't recommend it more. I've learned a lot from the Epstein story from that. He's also talking about AI images regarding Epstein, the ones that came out saying, hey, he's in Israel. They are AI. There's too many problems with it. It has the Google watermark in the lower right showing, in fact, it was AI generated. It was posted on a Reddit forum as kind of like a funny meme, show your funniest picture using AI, and that's what someone did. Also in that picture, there's Hebrew on the signs in the background that is gibberish.
Yeah, it's gibberish. Yeah.
That photo, that's what I'm saying.
Of all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, 2020.
That's crazy.
That's fucking way ahead.
Yeah, that picture that people are claiming is Epstein, that looks like Nick Nolte fucking with two guards is bullshit. Apparently some fucking Jewy-ass Jews fucking read all the signs and they were like, it's just gibberish. But it just does sound like something I would say.
Crazy. Bro. But these files, just what's come out so far, and the fact that they redacted men, these like powerful billionaire guys, their names were redacted. Like there's one of them where he's talking about pandemic planning.
What?
Yeah, with Bill Clinton. Or no, with
someone named Bill.
Bill Gates. Bill Gates.
It's like, why are you redacting the guy's name that you're talking
Bill
about planning
Gates.
for a pandemic, like what to do in response to a pandemic? Why is his name retracted? Or redacted, rather.
When are they supposed to testify? When are the Clintons supposed to testify? Would you say they're gonna 2 weeks? Did you say the aliens are coming in the next 2 weeks?
I think
They're gonna land.
I think that's
Something's gonna
ramp
happen.
up just before that testifying.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
We bomb Iran, aliens show up, maybe at the same time.
We should all do some DMT together.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the one talking about pandemic planning right here.
Mm-hmm.
Preparing for pandemics. This is in 2015. It doesn't say anything about Bill, but I think people have theorized that this name here, the redactions of the letters BILL fit into there. But no doubt this was discussed too. This wasn't the only email disclosure about pandemics too. This was discussed here as well. This is what we're dealing with.
Fuck, man.
Outside of this, because this, I mean, obviously this conspiracy, it's not a theory anymore, right? Because they're connecting the networks, they're like exposing a lot of this. Like when you look at your total conspiracy catalog of things that you like to dive into, outside of aliens, because everybody knows that. What are your other ones that you like?
Well, aliens is the most fun one.
Yeah.
This is the one that I hate the most.
Yeah.
This
No
one's
doubt.
the shit out of
This
me.
is
Because
fucked.
the fear of, we talked about this yesterday with Roger Avery. The fear of these like literally demonic human beings that are running the world and don't give a fuck about human lives and enjoy watching people being tortured, enjoy watching people killed, participating in ritual sacrifice of people, and they do it in order to show that you're a part of a team. And we know that has always historically been a real thing, and it's been something that you look at in history, you go, God, it's so sick, it's so twisted, it's so disgusting, and everybody wants to think, thank God that's not happening now.
Yeah,
but then when
right.
you realize
It is.
that might have been happening now. Here's one of the craziest ones. The day he was indicted, in 2018. The very next day, he ordered 330 gallons of sulfuric acid.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, this is true. This is not just a zany conspiracy theory. This is in the documents. Here's my post about it. This is...
Yeah. What would you use that for?
In relation to that order, I put together this to show kind of what it looks like here for the wire transfer request form, but it coincides on the actual day that Epstein investigation was launched by FBI agents for the second time in 2018. It wasn't the day after, as Joe Rogan said. Here's the order form. It's 6 times 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid. Has a lot of industrial use, a lot of potential use, but it can be used to dissolve bodies, metals, even other evidence. It takes a while to work on like human bone, and some metals I don't think it can completely dissolve, but it sure can dissolve a lot. And this happened to be the same day. Again, not only beyond this, maybe indicating that Epstein had a guy on the inside of the DOJ or the FBI. That, again, is part of the Epstein story. And meanwhile, the feds are saying, don't pay attention to this. There's nothing to see here. This is a Democratic hoax. Pay attention to the Bad Bunny halftime show. That's the stuff they're saying right now.
Yeah.
He ordered 6 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid to be delivered to the island. And so there's a lot of people online saying, oh, that was probably for his desalination plant. It's probably like a regular thing they need to order. So then someone else did a deep dive and said, no, this is the first time this was ever
I
ordered.
checked that again. I thought there was 2 other ones.
Oh, there was 2 other orders?
2017 and 2015.
Oh, so that guy
Yeah,
was...
there's multiple bodies that need to be fucking desalinated.
So maybe it was for this desalination equipment, but also that's a lot of sulfuric acid. You know, if I needed 5 gallons for my desalination equipment, but
Right.
239 gallons or whatever it is to burn kids. Yeah. To fucking get rid of bodies.
Well, it's kind of hard to.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This shit is having me triggered as fuck. If you'd like me to go deeper into the Epstein files, I will, but oh my god, this is fucking ridiculous. I will put these links in the description. I'd like to thank y'all for sticking with me while I'm drinking, because this is something I have to drink about, because this is disgusting. Y'all are great. I love y'all, and stay righteous, right power. Peace. Fuck.
Lift up, take